Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the Buckeye Roast. What's going on, y'all? We got big Chris Drew in the building. Happy to see him being here. My guy Ron. So Chris is a guest, so he can go last. Ron, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. Chris is such a big guest. We normally keep our guests down below and wait to introduce them, but this guy needs no introduction. Guest hosting the Buckeye Roast this morning. Big Chris Drew.
It's been too long. It's my first one of the year, and I'm really here, bro, because I just been dying. I just been wanting Q to say good morning to me, bro. He has not said good morning in like 8 months now, and I feel like now my day can start properly now that Q said good morning. What up, Q?
What's good?
Nah, I almost started cussing. What's up, Ron?
Well, you know exactly where you're at, so you can start cussing. You're bringing way more energy than Mr. 5 a.m. over there. But we got a show to get to, so I'm sure we will wake up as the show gets started.
Yeah, what's that sway line, Ron? Wipe the crust out your eyes.
Wipe the crust out your eyes.
Good morning. Dog. So for you two, obviously, you guys have been doing this every morning. I've enjoyed the show. I feel like I'm here with like the morning version of LeBron James and D Wade, word to Jay-Z and Kanye. I've been on that all morning. Before we get into today's show, so far, guys, what has been each of your favorite takes you've had?
This season?
Yeah, bro. So you started this season on Buckeye Roast. Like, what's like the staple Q and Ron take? I know they're gonna be different, but like, what's your staple take that you want to hit so bad, or your personal favorite take?
Mine is easy. I came up here and they crucified me for selling a Gabe Powers stock and buying Arvell Reese. I'm sitting on crazy stock right now. I might go take over Nvidia in a minute. That take is going to hit. Arvell Reese has got the hype train right after that, and we've been good to go. So that's my favorite take this season so far.
Oh my God. Favorite take this season? I don't even know. Maybe, I guess Brandon Inniss returning punts. Like, I feel like that's the most passionate thing that I've had is bro needs to be returning punts. Like, I need to see the SFE guys get their hands on the ball as much as possible. So I guess I go with BI returning punts, bro. I ain't been cooking like that. Q has had all the bangers so far this year. I don't got any hot takes. We've just been rolling off of this cash that Q has accumulated since selling all his Gabe Power stock and investing in Arvell Reese. I haven't.
I just want to know who told Q to buy Gabe Power stock to begin with.
Oh, I had it from last season. Man. I've had that for a bit.
Is a bad take followed by a good take. You don't just flip on players like that.
I've been riding on that stock for a minute.
Yeah, but who told you to get that stock?
Hey, man, I got insiders.
Because I'm still holding.
But before we really jump into it, let me give a shout out to Javon. He was the first one in the chat. So he said, oh, wait, so let me get an IO from everybody in the chat. Also, too, don't forget if you're watching this on Twitter, go ahead and like and retweet that video, especially if you're in the community. If you're not in the community, please ask. Spotify, iPhones. I know y'all got iPhones. Go ahead and hit that. Apple Podcast, 5-star on the video, all that good stuff. Leave a question, leave a comment. We appreciate it. And Spotify as well. I think it's all my house cleaning I got.
Q, you strike me as the type of dude who deletes girls' numbers if you text them and it goes through green.
Nah, man, they always have a chance. Just hit my line.
Just hit Q's line. All right, Q the Bachelor. We got to get Q on one of those 20v1 joints, the bloom popping joints.
That's gonna be a full circle moment for this platform when we started off doing watching The Bachelor on playback, and then Q is eventually going to be The Bachelor. It's gonna be a full circle moment for
I promise
media.
You. I promise that would be that season of The Bachelor will go crazy.
You ever go to one of those bloom popping joints, Q?
Nah, I'm not doing that.
20v1 with Q, that'd be crazy.
You know what I really want to do?
None of the girls, that would be a boring episode, but I would definitely be laughing.
Bro, you know what I really want to do? Y'all ever watch the Beta Squad joint where they got to find the girl that's actually interested in them, and the other 4 are just there for the money? I want to do that joint. That would be fun.
You would fail.
Yeah, I'd be like, yeah, it's her. No, it's her. I don't care. She showed me no sign. She's the baddest one here.
All right, we do have an actual show to do. You guys typed up a great one, but thanks for letting me take the credit and take the wheel, steer this one. Urban Meyer, high praise for this 2024 roster. Again, this is for the second time. He launched that podcast with him, Mark Ingram, and then they had freaking Nick Saban on episode 1. So way to drop onto the scene. And he said this might be the best roster in college football, not just this year, but the past decade. Is that rat poison? Is he putting pressure on Ryan Day? You think he's jealous? Where you at? Is he right?
Yes. All of the above, bro. Is putting the pressure on him. He's throwing the rat poison out there, and it's coming from a place of jealousy. Bro's sitting here looking at this roster like, I would not lose a game with this much talent on my team. You better not go out there and mess this up. I had to leave earlier than I wanted, and now you're here with this team. You better get it done.
Ooh. I don't know if this is the best roster in the last decade. I think that might be a little bit of a stretch. I mean, I feel like here at Ohio State, we just added a couple of players to our normal thing. But if you look back at like the Bama 2020 roster, Georgia a couple of years ago,
wait, stop. This
additionally loaded rosters as well.
That's a good exercise. Let's do it. That Bama 2020 roster, Q, their defensive backfield featured how many NFL players?
Hey, you asking defined questions. I don't know. Remember from 4 years ago?
Probably like 2 or 3. I mean, really, the staple of that 2020 team was they had a really good offensive line, and they had really good receivers.
Right.
But like our running backs are better than those running backs, right?
No,
like Najee Harris is a really good running back. I don't think he's better than a collection of Q and Trey. I see Mr. Pittsburgh over there shaking his head. Hell no.
Let's not get carried away here, okay? Najee Harris,
Najee
great back.
Harris, but,
You said what?
Najee Harris, a great back. Let's not get carried away.
you think Najee's better than Q?
No, he's not. Bro was crazy in college.
Bro, he was crazy in college, but ran for like 4 yards a carry against that Ohio State team that was greatly flawed.
I mean, he did, but also too, he managed with a massive amount of weapons around him. He still was highly productive. So you got to give him his credit. It wasn't like he was out there playing.
Najee Harris at Alabama at no point was ever better than Q at Ole Miss.
I mean, yeah, I'll take your word for that. Well, let's not act like he was sauce.
I'm not acting like he was buns. I'm acting like he was just not like Q.
He came out here and gave him a name, and I almost disrespected a Buckeye by saying you're treating him like someone, but I'm not going to do bro like that.
I'm not treating him like Master T because I know that's what
you said it. See, we talk way too much.
I'm saying we talk way too much.
All right, so you think it's definitely way above, this roster is above that 2020 Bama roster? Because I remember the Bama roster had the same thing, except they recruit better than us. So everybody came back on that roster. It's for another year to try to win a championship.
Dog, this roster on paper is better than that 2020 Bama roster.
Okay.
The only thing that's like up for whatever is Mac Jones in them, especially when you consider who broke their ankle week 2 that year.
Yeah, but I'm not counting the injury. I mean,
you're not counting that. So all right,
I mean, somebody could break their ankle. Not going to.
Okay, so what receiving core would you two rather have? 2020 Bama or this current Ohio State receiving core?
Well, Ron is bought, paid for, and purchased by SFE, so he doesn't even get to answer that question. But if
my money's still in the mail, so I can't answer that.
Yeah, but if you're telling me I could have Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle, which I know are top 10 picks already, to the questionable, I don't know where these SFE guys are going to fall after this season, and they're additionally young. They're only sophomores, and we're relying on Emeka Egbuka. I'm taking Jalen Waddle and Devin Smith easy.
Devontae Smith. Devin Smith was a Buckeye, but yeah. No, I got you. Honestly, 2020 Bama's receivers, I mean, they last year to win a Heisman. You're right. That one's a pretty easy one. So, and whose running backs would you rather have? 2020 Ohio State or 2020 Bama or this current Ohio State?
Yeah, I'm taking this current Ohio State roster.
About you, Ron?
Hey, I hate to be a Najee truther, but you asked me when has he ever had a season like Quinshawn? I mean,
when was he better than Q?
Not better, but it's not that big of a gap. Bro was talking like Quinshawn Judkins was like a no-brainer over Najee Harris. Like he didn't go crazy at Alabama.
Yeah, Najee Harris had the best offensive line in the country. Q had me, you, and Q blocking for him, bro. He had a bunch of 6'2" guards out there at tackle when he went for 1,400 yards as a true freshman and split carries.
They're telling us this offensive line, though, could be much better. Maybe he's dealing with a better offensive line this year.
Yeah,
Josh Fryer on the outside. Justin Fryer is able to
go crazy with a bad O line, so he's about to go nuclear with a decent O line. I don't know how y'all feel about Josh Pryor. But again, besides the point, Herb said best in the last decade. I almost agree with this statement. I think if we had a proven quarterback, I would get on board with that.
Yeah, I mean, I was waiting for you to bring up Mac Jones. Do you think Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Will Howard?
Absolutely.
Cute.
Like Mac was a first rounder. Like Mac's issue is he doesn't like being coached hard. Like nothing. Everything else Mac has.
So I had to go back and see the names on that roster to jog my memory. So we had Dylan Moses, Christian Harris, Jordan Battle, Josh Jobe, Will Anderson, but he was young at the time. And we also had Brian Branch was young too. Christian Barmore, and I was missing one on this roster. Missing one. But yeah, that's who's on that defense.
Yeah, see, what are we talking about?
I don't know. I think the Buckeyes are definitely going to have an argument when it's all said and done with this defense. I feel like after this season, when we look back, and I don't even think it's fully going to hit people. I feel like people are going to have a moment when they look back at this roster, and regardless of how this season finishes, if it finishes how the Buckeyes are hoping and they end with a national championship, I feel like in 5-10 years, people are going to be looking back like, that team was fucking loaded. Jermaine Matthews didn't even start. And they won the Natty. So think about how loaded they are. The names that you're going to see down the list that may not be at the top of the stat sheet this year, and the depth that's going to show. And I feel like that's really the mark of a truly great team, because when you have those truly elite teams in college football, not only are they loaded with veteran talent, but they have the young guys behind them, because those types of programs that win national championships have the depth behind them. So when you go back and look at a roster, it's like, Will Anderson really wasn't playing, but holy shit, Will Anderson was on that roster too.
Yeah, and Pat Surtain, that was the other one I was missing. But yeah, I still take this Ohio State defense more than likely. Don't fail me, Jim Knowles. But
I mean,
Chris,
if we win a Natty this year, gang, I'm lying. Like I'm calling this defense better than that Miami defense. I'm calling this defense better than the 86 Bills. Like I'm saying this. Like we win a Natty, gang. I'm super lying. I'm gonna lie my ass off, OG.
You're waiting until the Natty to start lying? Like, what do you need to see to start like, what is the one thing that you would see before we beat Michigan that would make you ready to start lying?
Like, lie about the defense, the offense, or just anybody?
Lie about our team. Like, I don't want to hear about anyone else. We'll whoop anyone that gets on the field with us.
If Jeremiah Smith has 100 yards in the first half against Akron, no one can tell me anything. Nobody can tell me anything. Like, that is
SFE hoodies in the bookstore.
I'm saying, like, that's the one. Like I don't want to hear no more about Randy Moss. I don't want anybody to ever bring up Jerry Rice to me. If he's got 100 yards in the first half against Akron, I'm sold. It's over. That's the one. That's Josh Gordon, no weed. That's like the creative player. That's the one. I'm going to be lying about him for sure. And I'm going to be laughing at Miami fans because I don't know how y'all anointed him the chosen one at age 7 years old. He ended up at Ohio State. So
that's crazy.
Fumbled the bag.
You went ahead and offered him. But Chris, let me hijack this next segment here, and I'll throw it back to you because I do want your expertise in on this. So Ron is upset with all the pro football focused lists I have been pulling lately, but I got another one for you. So they put out the quarterback list for this season. Will Howard, our guy, was at 27.
Where was Devin Brown?
37.
He made the list?
Yeah, so no, he didn't make the list.
Oh, I was like, what?
No, I'd rather not. Maybe next season. But I got some notable names for you, one that Chris will be very happy about. So at 25, Haynes King of Georgia Tech. At 20, Riley Leonard. DJ Ewers at 17. Cam Ward is at 15. Drew Allard is at 13. And then the top 6 goes as follows. Milrow at 6. Jackson Dart at 5, Ewers at 4, Shador Sanders at 3, Dylan Gabriel at 2, Carson Beck at 1. So my question is, Will Howard starts at 27. This is my first question. Do you think he finishes in the top 10 after the season's done of best quarterbacks in the nation?
Absolutely. I'm no dummy. I mean, this offense is supposed to be quarterback friendly. He should have the numbers. He should have the rushing numbers as well. And obviously, like we've kind of banked on Will Howard getting better with better around him and him being a point guard, not the superstar, not the superhero, like he said. If he's not top 10 by the end of the year, then that means something went drastically wrong. And I don't think something can go drastically wrong unless it's an injury. So I think it'll be top 10. I mean, I love Haynes King, but I'll be super the fuck for real, dog. Like, Will Howard's better than Haynes King. And I love me some Haynes King. I love Mr. Big Eyes himself, Mr. Break the U again. Like I love Haynes King. And like of the interviews I want, he's like honestly like he's probably like a top 8 white person in my world. Like I love Haynes. I really do. I really mean that. But Will Howard is absolutely better than Haynes King. I wonder. I think him and Riley will probably finish like 2 or 3 spots apart, both in the top 10, because I am pretty high on Notre Dame this year, with the addition of the OC from LSU last year and Riley Leonard being there. So I think him and Will Howard will probably finish pretty similarly slotted in this PFF list at the end of the year.
Wrong.
Like Chris said, something went horribly wrong if Will Howard doesn't finish in the top 10. We talked endlessly last year about there's no way Kyle McCord could struggle in this offense. We saw JT Barrett throw 30 touchdowns under Ryan Day, and it was honestly a shock to everyone, especially with Marvin Harrison Jr., that Kyle wasn't able to cross that 30 touchdown threshold. I feel like will do it with the combination of his arm and leg. So he might not do it completely through the air, but I definitely think he gets over 30 touchdowns between running and passing. I think that would be enough to get him in the top 10, especially with all the hype that would be around the team. With the success that they're having, barring any injury, I do think Will Howard finishes higher on that list. A name that I wanted to ask you guys about, someone that I used to be super, super high on. I once said, I definitely in my top 5 worst takes of all time, that the Steelers should start tanking for DJU about 5 years ago. I wanted my Steelers to start liquidating everything to get ready to draft DJU number 1 overall. You heard him, what was he, 17 on that
17.
list?
Mm-hmm.
I feel it's too high, and he's playing against your guy, Haynes King, week 1. Does he get it done?
Does he get it done week 1?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I even asked that.
Gang, I don't know about y'all, but this Tech team got the betters moving, dog. They got to move in a little bit. I think he does get it done week 1. I think 17 is probably a good place for him. I don't know how PFF grades it, but that's too high, dog. Because I think him and Haynes King were almost identical last year.
Will Howard at 27, I mean, if you ask Buckeye fans, I mean, I throw this question to both of you and the chat. You taking Will Howard or DJU if you could have had either one of them out of the portal?
I mean, I have been, and maybe I'm on the wrong side of this, but I've been claiming for 2 years they should have took DJU. In Ryan Day's offense with his development, like I feel like we've seen the talent. We know it's there. We've seen him throw the ball. We've seen him play well at times at Clemson. But we also know what the fuck he was dealing with at Clemson for those years. And he went out to Oregon State, which you say what you want about Oregon State. Florida State and Ohio State is a massive upgrade. It's like Will Howard coming here. Like, you're not going to have the weapons out there. You're not going to have the team out there that you have out here, even though I felt like the Pac-12 was a little inflated last year. So I feel like DJU at Ohio State would have played well, and we would be talking about him in a much different light, just like we will Will Howard next season.
I'm a psychopath, and I like when my quarterback throws into double coverage as long as it's 35 yards further downfield. I think I would rather take in DJU, but honestly, aren't they the same quarterback in a different font?
It feels like it.
Right? A couple of big niggas who throw some ill-advised passes and can
Who
run
wins in a
bit.
foot race?
Will Howard. I'm taking Will Howard. According to Ohio State science,
according to Chip Kelly, Will Howard runs Terry killing a foot
29
race.
and a half miles per hour. I heard Coach Mick say.
Yeah, he would outpace Noah in the final. So I'm taking Will Howard in the foot race.
Yeah, according to Ohio State, Will Howard's not allowed in school zones because he goes too fast. Like, get out of here, bro. I'm not going for that. Their foot race is probably the same. They're probably the identical speed. Honestly, God was like, let's just make one of you white and one of you Polynesian. And let's just go from there. See who makes it to the league first.
Bro, copy paste, just changing one attribute. Make this one a little taller. Make this one Polynesian.
It's like God had 2 of his interns up there. Hey, can I copy your homework? But yeah, don't make it obvious it was mine. That's literally what happened.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a quick fun fact in here. Kyle McCord was 32 on the list, just so people are wondering where he was at. So
I know no one asked, but I think he finishes in the top 10 too.
Well, we will
Kyle?
see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kyle. They said Kyle's completing 80% of his passes so far in camp over there at Syracuse. Now I don't know if that's really good for him or really bad for the defense. I don't know. There's no he's throwing the ball downfield like that, but they're excited. There's some chatter that they're a playoff dark horse.
Yeah. Oh, from who?
From me.
Menace of Sports.
Yeah. But that's what I got, Chris. I'll throw it back to you. But everybody like the video. We got 200 people in here, so hit those retweets, all that good stuff. Chris, Drew, it's all you.
I want to ask you both. Do you think Shedeur Sanders is better than Quinn Ewers?
You know who you're talking to right now. You know I am the leader of the Quinn Ewers fan club. Like, I'm not going against Quinn. Quinn is the guy. You see the way he throws his sidearm? He just flicks that thing. Now, I've been following the Quinn Ewers hype since he had a mullet. So, I'm sticking with Quinn through and through. I feel like once he finally has a healthy season and has the opportunity to really just get through a season, I think he will really show people why he was the number one player, show people the arm talent that he has. And Chris talked about it. I'm a psycho with my quarterbacks too. A guy that throws into double coverage, a fuck it, he's down there somewhere type of guy. And Quinn's that guy that'll rip it into windows and sometimes doesn't always see it correctly and trust it. A phrase that used to get used in Columbus a lot is they trust their arm. They're trusting their arm. They're not seeing the field. They're just trying to throw it wherever they want to. Quinn is one of those guys that trusts his arm and will throw it into danger just because he thinks I'm Quinn Ewers and I can make that throw. And I absolutely love that about my quarterback.
I don't know, man. It's like those things of a guy leaving a school that they're fucking terrible. And if he played at Texas or at one of these other schools, where would Shedeur be? If you had good attitude Shedeur at Ohio State, oh, man. That's number one pick right there.
Now we over here taking attributes, good attitude, Shedeur.
That's what I'm saying, bro. He said Shedeur before his mixtape. I'm not sure. I think
Shedeur Sanders would feed fans.
It's like saying, like if Shaq had a jump shot, like my nigga, he doesn't. Like, just get over it.
Yeah, like what are we talking about, bro? When Shaq's making his free throws, I think he's honestly better than Jordan.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
We can just add attributes to a player like that, bro. It's
good
not a
attitude.
video
That's
game.
an easy fix.
Yeah, bro, you're front. I like Ewers a little more than Sanders. I get intrigued that a lot of these lists have Ewers behind Sanders. I think I'm gonna talk about it on my show today as well. I don't know what a Quinn Ewers natty would do for Buckeye Nation.
I know what it would do for this platform. It would end it. Your boy coming back on camera. I'll tell you that. It's over around here. We're closing up shop. Liquidation sale. Anyone need a Yeti mic?
A Quinn Ewers natty.
He's showing you. He's fucking packing up already. He's already. Yeah. He looked at the betting lines and said, "Just get me the fuck out of here. I got to start looking for a new platform."
Yeah, I'm telling you,
it's my camera per usual.
Q with the camera would be a top 5 host ever.
Q with the camera.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just saying. This one, I guess this one's for both of you. Welcome back, Q. Good to see you. Brandon Ennis and Mylan Graham lost their black stripe exactly a year apart. Are we going to see bro this year or no?
This time a year ago, Devin Brown was the starting quarterback. A lot of things were different a year ago. No, but it's crazy to think. You brought this up to me, Mylan Graham losing his black stripe. We were talking on the phone, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, I wonder where that is in relation to Brandon Ennis, because I feel like that'd kind of be an indication of how he's done. It's hard to gauge where these guys that enrolled during the summer are on the depth chart and how close they are to getting on the field, because they're so late in the process. They're just getting they're learning the playbook. They're just getting their feet wet in Columbus. And to see a guy that Brandon Ennis, who was getting rave reviews last year during fall camp, even though he got there late and eventually saw himself get on the field. I mean, he only had one catch last year, but when you look at the stats, he had the same amount of touchdowns as Carnell Tate. So to see a guy like Mylan Graham come in and get his black stripe off on the same pace as Brandon Ennis, of the 5-star that came before him, that's super exciting to hear. And that's someone that, I mean, everybody in that room is going to have to keep an eye on. And guys like Bryson Rogers and Jaden Ballard are going to be looking over their shoulder like, hey, we got this 5-star here, and he's right on pace with BI, and BI is knocking on the door to get on the field. So I definitely think that is big for the progression of Mylan Graham and his trajectory based on where he's got his black stripe off so far.
Ooh, yeah, I don't know. It's almost a mix of two minds. I remember Ryan Day famously last season he said Cardell Tate and Brandon Ennis both deserve to play, and Seaball famously quote tweeted it and said, which means they ain't. So so we have the Ryan Day of ain't nobody playing, but we have Chip Kelly walking in here, and Chip Kelly loves speed, and I have a hard time believing he's got now Jaden Ballard and Mylan Graham, probably both of them running 32 miles an hour in mixed program, and not finding something for them to do in this offense. So I believe we will see Mylan Graham in some way, some form, maybe not every game, but in games that we start to get away from teams this season, I believe we'll see him.
He practices with a do-rag on. I'm sold. I'm sold.
I was watching the show yesterday. You were talking about that guy, the Sellers guy in South Carolina. You said a black guy that plays with rec specs, you have to bet on him.
Gotta bet on it.
We got one of those. Bro, go look at Iggy's high school fucking pictures, bro.
But Iggy don't wear it no more. Iggy
he used to have a do-rag on with rec specs, bro. You should have known the day that we signed him. Chris, what did I this wasn't even in show notes. I text Chris Drew, 2 weeks ago, and I said, bro, I just saw a picture that makes me know that we are winning a national championship last year. And I'm going to tell all of you guys about this picture, and you go find it. And we used to have a phrase around here called "No Swag You." At Ohio State, there's no swag. We didn't have that energy. We didn't have that dog in our team. And we always used to say, man, go out there and sign those guys that stole Coach Key's car. Like, we need that dog on our team. And I'm browsing the timeline the other day, and I go to Davison Igbenoson's page, and if you look at the header on his Twitter account, bro has a official recruiting visit picture with no shirt on, gold chains, and a fucking shiesty. I want you to think about the fact that there was a bunch of Ohio State staff members, and this freshman from the SEC shows up and goes, hey, before we wrap this shoot up, let me take my shirt off and grab a few flicks. And they were like, you know what? We'll do that for you. We can make that happen. And I saw that picture, and I said, oh, we're back. Gold chains, no shirt, and a shiesty at an official recruiting visit photo shoot. Like, bro ain't even signed yet. And they're like, yeah, take your shirt off. Start taking pictures. We don't give a fuck. Do whatever you want to do here.
It looked like he's about to record kill shit in the studio.
That's
so a couple niggas just like down the ride with the money. That shit is so funny, bro. I love Igbenosun, dog. Igbenosun is a top what player in that defensive backfield?
In Ohio State?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to lie. I really want to, especially given that new information Ron just gave me, and I want to say top three. I think last season. And I do think Jermaine Matthews is better, but I don't think he will play more in this defense. But I want to say three because I will give him the edge over Lathan Ransom a little bit with development. I think he'll be right behind Burke. And I think he'll be right behind Downs. So I want to lie and say three.
So you got him ahead of your boy?
You have him ahead of Jordan Hancock and Denzel Burke.
No, Denzel Burke is Caleb Downs, Denzel Burke, IGB.
I'm rolling with it. I'm about to tell Jordan Hancock you flipped on him.
No, I did not.
I can't believe it.
Jordan Hancock is a pro. It sounds like you just sold all of your Jordan Hancock stock after claiming that he was going to be a first-round draft pick last year.
So is Igbenosun also a first-rounder, Q?
I believe he has the talent to be, as long as they develop him this offseason. Look,
I was strapped and
one thing last season, he got a little lost in coverage. But we've seen other guys like, I ain't gonna say no names, Denzel Burke get lost in coverage, and now we're talking about him as a first round pick.
Did you say I'm not gonna say no names, then bring up my boy?
Y'all crazy.
But Denzel Burke got lost in coverage.
Denzel Burke never got lost in coverage.
I tell you one person that I know for a fact never got lost in coverage, and that's Jermaine Matthews. So,
sophomore year.
I mean, watch your mouth.
Yeah, hold up. Wait, yeah, so Jermaine Matthews never got lost in coverage. Denzel Burke's issue, he didn't want to tackle, bro. He was eating lobster mac and cheese. He didn't want to
Denzel
tackle.
Burke's sophomore year, he wasn't getting lost in coverage.
No, he wasn't tackling.
Bro was hurt.
Okay, all right.
The point
I
is,
watched the games you watched.
The point is, BIA could legitimately have 5 top 2 rounders currently on the roster.
You just said it right there. BIA, Chris, you're the national guy. You do the show about all of college football. I put this question in here for you. It is the question on the graphic for the show. Is this the best secondary in America? We've been saying BIA is back, and it feels like for the first time, like, it's not even disputed. This is absolutely the best secondary in America. And I know you're
not a slogan. It's not only true that they're best in America this year. It's the best in America since 2016. Ohio State, probably. And it's the deepest room, at least in the last 10 years. Now, you could maybe go back to that 2014 Alabama team that had like Landon Collins in them. But I'm not sure there's been a better freshman safety in the country, true freshman, than Caleb Downs. And now he's on this roster. I think that Lathan Ransom is legitimately a top 4 safety in all of college football. I think Sonny Styles would probably be a top 10 safety, and he's not even playing on this team at safety. Jermaine Matthews is likely the best cover corner guy in America. Denzel Burke is probably the 3rd or 4th all-around corner, right behind like Will Johnson and Travis Hunter. And Igbinosun, I think, is a top 2 rounder. I think Igbinosun is Joey Porter Jr. without the NFL dad. So I think this is BIA. I think it's not really that close. I can't think of another secondary that has 4 guys in contention for best at their position other than this Ohio State team. The only thing they're missing is a guy that could win the Thorpe Award, because I think it's likely going to be Will Johnson or Travis Hunter, because you know how writers get. But if they have someone on this team win the Thorpe Award, it'll absolutely be stamped as like BIA is not just back, but like it's not a slogan. Like it's really real, and draft day is going to be littered with a lot of guys. In fact, I would probably take this secondary over the 2019 Ohio State secondary if there was a gun to my head. But I think that 19 secondary had the privilege of only having to cover for 0.6 seconds because Chase Young was on the hunt. So yeah, that's my general thoughts on this unit. But across the country, dog, there's no one to me that's even remotely close. I mean, Michigan may have been close, but Sab left, and then the one kid tore his ACL. Oregon is close, but they're a step below at every position. So they're literally none of their DBs are better than would start for Ohio State. And I guess that's where I go. It's like what team has players that would start for this Ohio State team?
The only other one that I can really think of is the corner at Notre Dame, Ben Morrison. It's probably about the only one, but as far as the rest of the secondary, it's nowhere near the caliber of Ohio State.
So, and I don't think Benjamin Morrison would be corner 1 at Ohio State, and I might be alone on that. I know a lot of people like Ben. Ben did a good job against Marv last year.
Had him in hell.
Corner 2.
I saw a tweet the other day that said, "Who's the best corner in college football?" Ask Marvin Harrison Jr. He ain't gonna tell you Will Johnson.
Yeah, I mean, Ben did a ridiculous job. Oh yeah, so Jabbar Muhammad would start at Ohio State, but he wouldn't be cornerback 1 at Ohio State. Is kind of my point. It's like who's number 1 corner is better than Ohio State's number 1 corner, other than Will Johnson and Travis Hunter. And I think those are the only 2.
Yeah.
So
probably where's Travis Hunter? Where's Travis Hunter in Ohio State's wide receiver room? While we're here,
the starting slot. I don't know. absolutely playing, bro.
No, he's got to cook. And also, I didn't mean lost in coverage. I mean got beat a bit.
Okay.
That's what I meant to say. I thought I just said that wrong. Denzel Burke got beat a little bit in his sophomore year, and we talked about Igbinosun. That was his weakness. But
Xavier Watts over Lathan. Uh-oh.
Oh, also, I had the note just to remind you of some, but this is how Pro Football Focus had it for secondaries. Ohio State 1, Iowa 2, Notre Dame 3, Michigan 4, Oregon 5, Texas 6, Georgia 7.
It makes you think about the Xavier Wampa situation. If we end up landing him, do we have a Caleb Downs here? If the safety room is loaded,
Yeah, he would have fed families here, man. Let's be for real. That one still hurt my heart. I don't know
Chris,
about
what you
I don't know
pondering
about
over
Caleb
there?
Downs, but
Pondering Xavier Watts. Xavier Watts is my bad. Cam's got me in in a rabbit hole. Xavier Watts is not starting over Lathan Ransom. Lathan Ransom might be the most disrespected safety in the country. I'm not doing it. People disrespect Lathan Ransom because of what he had to do because we had Terry McAllister out there.
That's crazy. Honestly, we definitely need to talk about that one day, about how Lathan Ransom got the worst PR treatment in the world because Tanner McAllister was unplayable, that we had to have our strong safety playing nickel.
Yeah, that's literally it. Like, Lathan Ransom has done everything right. And in fact, in that Notre Dame game, played better than Watts for sure. Like, I don't know. I'm not doing it. My bad. Back on topic. You guys go.
Real quick, you were talking about disrespectful. Disrespectful is the fact that there's 80 people watching this show right now on YouTube and we don't have 80 likes. So make sure you smash that like button. We have 220 people watching live on Twitter. So if you're watching on Twitter, make sure you throw a like on that video and a retweet. Also, a big shout out to Chris Drew for joining us this morning. Chris, you're guest hosting. What else do we got on the show today?
All right. So I love Buckeye Lure, and Matt Guerrieri, or however you want to say it, is oddly enough a part of Odd Buckeye Lure. I went to one of the open practices, didn't see him the whole time. I feel like he's that kid that's going to get his name on the group project that doesn't do any of the work, but he spoke yesterday. We finally got some MG stuff when we hadn't really seen him or hadn't really heard anybody talk about him. Because honestly, who gets credit for the secondary most of the time?
Walt.
OG Walt. But he did have a couple things, and it led to some people finally giving Perry Eliano some flowers. But Leroy Roker got his black stripe off, and MG said he was the second most athletic safety in the entire room behind Caleb Downs.
Is
that a good eval? I mean, he was ranked outside the top 800. Wasn't even a top 50 safety. Here we go. Leroy Roker. Is he going to pass a guy like Malik Hartford, do you think? Or you think Malik Hartford is next in line in one of those safety spots?
Yeah, he's already passed him. Malik Hartford, he's I'm just messing with Ron.
Malik Hartford kind of got banished to the land of, we think you're good, but we don't want to see you anymore.
Yeah, which is interesting. And I think coming into the season, Malik Hartford has the place. So I understand you got probably maybe two of the best safeties in the country, but I would believe if he was that good as a freshman to where you were playing him and you threw him on the field against Michigan and basically threw him to the Wolves, he's got to at least be somewhat in a rotation this season. Am I off with that?
I think so, but it feels like he hasn't gotten a lot of talk at all this offseason, from anybody I've talked to.
Yeah, it does feel like we haven't heard his name this offseason, which is concerning. But last year, they spoke so highly of him. They talked about how he didn't look like a true freshman, how he was able to step in. We know he's an absolute thumper on the field. And we saw him, clearly they trusted him towards the end of the year. We saw him in the game against the team up north. So, I mean, he had to have made some sort of progress on the depth chart. It's not like, this is a program where they're itching to get young guys on the field. So you had to have shown them something. But it definitely is giving you some pause for concern as far as not hearing his name as much this offseason. It feels like another situation like what we're going through with Gabe Powers, a guy that, was highly touted coming out of high school. You heard a lot of good things about, but a guy that you would expect to be hearing his name, you're hearing guys that are behind him and younger guys' names more frequently. So it definitely is something that's making you look around, because it feels like every other day we're hearing about a safety flashing in practice, a safety getting his black stripe off, what this safety room looks like, but we haven't heard Malik's name that much this offseason. So it's definitely something that you're going to want to keep an eye on this year, especially early in the season when those rotations start happening on the defensive side of the ball. What does that rotation look like? Are guys getting passed up? And I mean, we've been talking about it for years. Offer these kids load up as many people as you can in this class, especially if you think they're talented. And there's a transfer portal that allows people to go find their opportunity elsewhere if they aren't able to find their way on the field. I don't think that'll be the case with Malik Hartford, but it just shows that approach of stacking talent in this room, what it can do when we thought, hey, look, we went and got a Caleb Downs despite thinking that Malik Hartford was going to be stepping into that role the next year. And then we still have guys behind that are still performing and showing out in practice. So definitely think that's a loaded room.
And I do know he was dinged up, gang. I do know he was dinged up, but yeah, that's kind of the other part of it. It just reminds me a lot of when we heard about Kai Stokes. Remember, we heard all the love about Kai Stokes.
Who was the first person to say he wasn't playing here?
You were, Ron.
Okay,
but you knew why we heard a lot about Kai Stokes, because they knew they fucked up on the trail and missed all their top targets. And they were like,
he missed all the top targets, and magically this number 400 player in the class is the best player we ever got. What do I always say? Don't talk to me about new recruits added to the board after September, bro, because you're gonna fucking be in my text in my DMs trying to convince me that 247 and every other recruiting service missed this guy that's 530 and he's actually a late bloomer and low key a 5-star, but he's ranked 397.
So what about Leroy Rowe? Can we feel the same way about him? Or
I mean, I gotta see him.
Show
Chris,
me. Prove it.
I've made this statement here. This is good. This is BDM going forward. No more practice All-Americans. If I do not see it on Saturday, I am not buying it. We are over the days where Tough Borland used to smack Zeke in practice and then come on Saturday.
What timeline were you in?
Yeah, bro. I wasn't on that text thread about Zeke getting smacked by Tough Borland, bro.
No more days where
I don't want to hear no line is
practice season. I'm not doing it. No more practice All-Americans. Show me on Saturday.
Bro, Q, you know what the issue with that is? If we stop listening to what players and other people say,
I don't say players. I'm just saying.
Okay, that's fair. No more practice All-Americans. I can get behind that, but I do like my practice All-Americans. My favorite one is CJ Hicks, who we can't wait to unleash.
Exactly.
He's going to revolutionize the jack position this year.
He sure did in practice.
Oh, my goodness. Do you think we're going to see the Jack ever at Ohio State or no?
Jack Sawyer.
The players
close to the Jack you're getting, bro. If Jack Sawyer puts the word "the" in front of his name, it's the only way you're getting the Jack.
Man, we won't, because either the players that they want to play the Jack, either they tell them don't come here or they can't get them to come here. So I don't know.
It's disgusting, bro. It won't make sense to me. Back to safeties. What safeties do you think we're going to see this year in blowouts? Who are the first two going to be out there that hopefully take over for Lathan and the guy himself? Downs.
First guy I'm buying is Jalen McCain. I heard about him a lot this offseason. A lot. And it looks like every Ohio State highlight they put up, he's out there making plays, looking good. So I'm interested to see him because he was one of those Perry guys that Perry got crucified for bringing in. And he's a practice All-American right now. So we'll see on Saturday.
I think Jaden Bonsu is the first safety that we see in the game. And if Malik Hartford is healthy, I feel like that's the second. I feel like those two will be the first two safeties that we see on the field. Again, like you said, it's just so funny that like people are circling back and praising Perry Eliano. And I said Perry Eliano wasn't fired because of recruiting. It was fired for personal reasons. Everyone else said it was because of recruiting. No one said it was because of safety play. We're listening to all of these names that we hear in this safety room. Sounds like his recruiting and or development and identification of talent was just fine. So I posed the question to you guys again. Why was Perry Eliano fired?
You know why? Because Jim Knowles wanted his boy here, and he felt like he had the leverage, felt like he earned the leverage, thought that MG should have been hired as a full-time coach when he got here, and he wasn't. And so basically, look, I got job offers. Duke's calling. I know that you don't want to hire a new DC. Make this right, or we can see what the deal is.
That's an interesting play with Jeff Hafley being unemployed at the time. Go ahead and fucking think you're too valuable, and Ryan Dale bring his buddy right back down here. I'll show you buddy cop hiring. I'll go get my mans right now. You think you're the only one with friends? He don't even want to bring nobody. He just want to come home.
Hey.
So that's why that's what I think. Yeah.
Hey man, Tim Walton and Jeff Hafley, would have fed generations on this defense. That's all I'm gonna say.
You notice there's a strong jersey presence on our defense this year. Just for the record, like the two that you brought up, Bonsu and McLean, both from Jersey. Our guy Igbinosin, Jersey. We got some Jersey boys out there. You know, I don't know what it means. I just want to float it out. I don't know what it means. I just like it.
You cut to the Notre Dame locker room footage after the Buckeyes beat them, and all you hear in the background is Jersey, nigga, Jersey. And I know it wasn't Kyle saying it, so it had to have been someone.
You sure that wasn't a direct quote?
Direct quote from Kyle?
That was not a direct quote from Kyle.
I'm just asking questions.
The captions on that video, I'm pretty sure when that came up in the background, it said not Kyle McCord speaking.
I like the Jersey guys though. I want more Jersey guys.
Absolutely. I mean, we've hit on them in Bonsu, Igbinosin, Cody Simon. I mean,
bro, I'm gonna owe Cody Simon the biggest apology ever, bro.
You better get in front of it before he bumps into you in Bridge Park.
Bro, I'm trying to. Cody, if you're listening, All-American, I'm excited for you. I said some really awful things about Cody, dog.
You're lucky he's not a tea drinker. He might fuck you up in the morning when you're grabbing your morning tea.
You know, we're all right. And honestly, Cody, if you got a problem with me, fight my homie Q about it. Who would y'all rather see return punts, Caleb Downs or Brandon Ennis?
You know me. SFB. SFE. Get one of them SFE guys back there. You know Brandon Ennis can make a guy miss. Everybody keeps talking about straight line speed on punt. It's not about straight line speed. They have to make a guy miss and hit the crease. I think Brandon Ennis is the guy to do that.
Yeah, it seems like Caleb Downs is almost, campaigning to be the starting punt returner. He had the comment that all he wants to do is score, and he would love to return punts.
Do it on defense, bro.
So,
go ahead, Q.
No, I'm just laughing.
And I guess I don't know how long you guys usually go, but I'll keep you guys on forever. We got to talk about tight ends.
Yeah, I got about 9 minutes left, so let's do it.
Bro, the Will Kramer kid from OU. I don't know if y'all heard what Keenan Bailey said about him. He said he reminds him a lot of Cade Stover. I once upon a time thought we were not going to see him play this entire year, but that one line from Coach Key makes me feel, oh, shoot.
He's
being set up to play Will over Jelani Thurman.
I mean, why would that surprise you? Niggas was running runoff routes with Marvin Harrison Jr. to get Cade Stover open last year. Hey, Marv, go be a distraction. We're trying to get Cade the ball. Do you not know who the fucking star is on this team?
Oh,
we got into the red zone and turned into the fucking fighting Cade Stovers. It was like we was trying to get fantasy points up. Like, I don't understand. Like, I love Cade and what he did to this program. Like, the definition of Buckeye through and through. Put on a jersey, play both sides of the ball in the fucking Rose Bowl. Like, you can't have a better resume than the things that Cade Stover did at Ohio State. Yeah, there are people that are more accomplished, more accolades, but Cade did everything that you asked him to do. But this obsession with, like, bro, they talked about Cade the way that they told us they were going to use Ruck, and they're like, we got this guy, Jeremy Rucker. He's the greatest receiving tight end we'll ever see. Ryan Day promised to smash the tight end receptions record with Jeremy Rucker every year of his career, and waited for him to graduate and said, hey, this nigga Farmer Gronk, the best.
Bro, they talk about Cade Stover so crazy. Look, Cade was a great Buckeye, did great things here, was tough, obviously, did all that. But I would never tell a tight end that's looking to learn, go watch teach tape of Cade Stover, and that's what they're having the Will Kramer kid do.
Bro, Coach Key said Cade Stover, when he left, he said, well, we'll never have another Cade Stover. He's irreplaceable. Like, when he...
And then he just found one at Ohio University, bro. The Bobcats had a Cade Stover, and you just said bro was irreplaceable. Now Ohio's growing them on trees.
Like, no shade to Cade, but he's not Vernon Davis. Like what are we doing?
I don't even think we're shading
the tight end every year.
I honestly feel like it's low-key disrespectful because I think Cade way better than that Kamaric, bro. And the idea to pretend like he's about to come in to be Cade is low-key crazy. Like, both the fact that, like, that is the standard, and then two, that I don't think that's going to be it anyways.
I'm not going to hold you guys. I played rugby once upon a time, and I was a decent rugby player. but I would go back to practices like years later, and people would talk about me like I was some sort of like unicorn super legend, and I'll be out there watching guys run around. And I'm like, no, I just got here before the black kids got here. I wonder if that's how Cade sometimes feels, like because like people talk about Cade like he was the one. Keenan Bennett talk about him like he was the chosen one, never replace him. And I just remember when my coach talked to me about me like that, and I'd be like, I wasn't really. You got 3 better than me right now. But
for those that don't know, because Mr. Humble over here never talks about it, Chris set and smashed every state record in rugby when he played in high school, was a borderline Olympic tryout level rugby player, and this man never talks about it and acts like he's never played a sport in his life.
So I was a decent rugby player, but I also went to go work out with like the guys that were like really like that, who records I shouldn't have touched. And they were all way better than me, but it was like one of those things. Like I just happened to play when there wasn't that many good kids playing, and that's how I feel like Cade Stover's got to look back. Like, damn, they talk about me like I was really actually Gronk, drop the farmer. Like like they talk about me like I'm irreplaceable. He wasn't even better than Ice Bryce.
When you see the tape of Jelani Thurman, you see the measurables, all of the expectations around that kid, and you hear the Buckeyes continue to talk about him not being ready, but it doesn't seem like a not ready on the field type of thing. Mm-hmm. What responsibility does the coaching staff have to make sure this kid can play? Even if he, like, a part of, you always hear about the college athletics, oh, it's not, we don't want it to turn into the NFL game. It's about more than just money and wins and losses. This is about developing young men and making them better people for the world. Why are we constantly having this excuse of, oh, he's not ready, he needs to do more on the off the field? Isn't that what we pay guys 6 figures for? Hundreds of thousands of dollars to make sure these 5 stars can play?
Yeah, most certainly. And I think
he would play anywhere else. He played Bama, he played Georgia. Like they'd have him ready by now. They don't let their freaks wait on the bench forever, and that's who we're chasing. So that's my only 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I think me and Zach both had the same line on the same day of basically like, this kid has to play. I seen that little clip from Jelani Thurman in spring ball where he caught a slant going over the middle. And I said, yeah, we haven't had a guy be able to do that in 20 years. Like nobody's that athletic. No one's built like that. Like he has to play. And if you get like I said, if you get a Jelani Thurman in this offense with all these weapons, they're like, we got to guard him too. You know, Will Kid, he'll just block, but this guy, if he goes out, it's a wrap. Like this offense goes up a whole nother level. So whether he's ready or not, I don't know what you're waiting for. You got to put him out there. We got 5 cupcake games. Get him ready.
Facts. But gang, that's all I got.
Our guy Dan got a question in the chat before we get out of here. Which would have been a bigger loss if Knowles didn't get his guy, losing Knowles to a Duke, or the fact that we lost to Perry Eliana? I mean, I think that's a pretty simple question. I think that obviously losing Jim Knowles would have been an issue, and that's not something that Ryan was ready to do. And Jim got his guy, and I think that was the right decision. I've never argued that giving Jim his guy was the issue. My problem, and again, people love to recycle this tweet and talk about it all the time. This guy said MG this guy said that. The point and the premise always was, don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. Jim Knowles absolutely deserved to say, hey, this guy's contract's up. I want my guy in here. You told me I could have my guy. I never got him. Give me my guy. Don't come out here and tell me you fired Perry because he can't recruit. Don't tell me you fired Perry because of on-field performance. Don't piss on me and tell me it's raining. Jim deserved his guy. Jim got his guy. Matt G, a deserving coach, has the role. There's no need to lie about it. That was my only thing. Let's say what it is. Everybody was talking about blank check hires, go out and get the best guy. Could he be a great coach? Yes. Did he help? Did Caleb Downs commit after he was here? Did he go get Fahim Delane? Yes, he did all of those things. Was he the best safeties coach in America available? No. Did they go out there and drop the bag and open the checkbook to hire a safeties coach? No. Those are all true. Could he still be a great coach? Is he a deserving coach? All of those things are fine. It was not a blank check hire, and Perry wasn't fired for recruiting. Those are inarguable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's facts.
You know where I'm at. And I think Noah's acting a little crazy, acting like there's not a guy who could replace him in a heartbeat at DC. But that's just me.
I mean, if Jeff Hafley was still at Boston College, I'd have been like, hey.
People forget Walt was a good DC with the Rams, dog. He's right there in that room. And you know who his captain was in that Rams team? Laurinaitis. People act like Ryan Day doesn't have this affinity for NFL guys. Don't get it twisted. Like the next DC might just be right there, given the gems.
Sounds like we got a lot of next coaches right in the room. It sounds like our offensive line coach is already in the building as well. And his name's not Justin Fry. We'll talk about that another day. Q, get us out of here before we create problems for Chris.
All right, before Ron gets fired, let's get us out of here.
Ron gets fired.
You got to get to work.
Oh.
Yeah, not from here. Rod is BDM. What are we talking about? He's the company. Shit. Chat. Appreciate y'all coming through. Blow it up again. We got almost 400 people in here. Like that video before you go. Like and retweet on Twitter. All that good stuff. Appreciate Big Chris Drew coming through. You'll see him in a couple hours on Venice, so don't forget to check him out there. Do not forget, we got another special guest tomorrow. Pat coming through. If you want to find me, I am City Boy Quitting on Twitter. Find Johnson on Instagram, all that good stuff. Ron.
It's been an absolute menace takeover on this channel this week. We got Chris Drew, surprise guest today. We got our guy, Pat Cahill of Menace to Sports tomorrow. While Chris Drew is here, do you do a show on Saturday, Chris, during the season?
We do here pretty soon. Me and Ron got the pregame show coming your way. We actually haven't decided if we're going to do week 0 or week 1, but I think week 1. I don't know.
Yeah, I've been telling people week 1. We are going to get started for the best damn college football pregame show. Moving to the Menace platform this year, so check us out pre-games. We also had a conversation with Bleacher Report yesterday. We are officially back for the season. We're locked in for the month of September. We will be live on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. in the Bleacher Report app. You can check us out there. Also, instant reactions Saturdays after games. So if you enjoyed today's episode and you want to see me and Chris Drew on some other platforms, check us out on Menace on Saturday mornings, Bleacher Report after the game. We appreciate Chris for joining us here today. If you want to find me, you can, of course, find me on Twitter at 2Ts. It's 2_TEES. You can find me here weekday mornings at 8 a.m. with my guy Q for the Buckeye Roast. Sundays for the flagship Buckeye BS with our guys Cam and Mike. And, of course, a loaded slate on Saturday for the college football season, man. We are officially here. Week 0 starts on Saturday, and then we are officially rolling, and it is Akron week. A big thank you to Chris Drew and all of our guests this week. It's been an amazing special guest week. Can't wait to finish off the week with Pat tomorrow. A big go Bucks and OH.
I-O.
Yeah.